This advertisement is paid for by Cutter Law, PC.
Hello, I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh, and welcome to the show. With me today to discuss the protection of the rights of victims of recent wildfires in Southern California are Brooks Cutter, founding partner, and Margot Cutter, partner at Cutter Law. Their law firm, Cutter Law, is recognized as an award-winning law firm with over 130 years combined legal experience and hundreds of millions of dollars in verdicts and settlements for clients. Our topic on today's program is the protection of the rights of victims of the recent wildfires in Southern California, where tens of thousands of residents have been affected by the Palisades, Eaton, Hearst, and Otto fires. And people who have been affected may have a claim for damages. If you or a loved one has suffered damages due to fire, smoke, wind, water, or break-in or vandalism due to these fires, I want you to stay tuned, because we're confident the information we're sharing today will be an important first step towards getting your lives back on track. Brooks and Margot, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Can you tell us more about the history of your firm and how the level of combined experience of your attorneys is important to our viewers who have wildfire claims?
What's great is that we do these cases as a team. And in our team, we have lawyers who have worked on lots of different wildfires up in Northern California and now in Hawaii and in Southern California. So we bring that team approach, and we have people who have experienced and who have actually, and I think this is critical, have experienced losses of their own. One of my lawyers lost his family house in a Northern California wildfire. In this most recent fire in Los Angeles, my brother's house burned to the ground. Oh. And so this is personal to us, and we want to really make sure that folks get the help they need.
Is there a particular focus or approach to the representation of clients that differentiates your law firm from everybody else?
Well, I think what we bring is a compassionate approach where we try and include our clients in our family and get to know them and their stories and find out what about them is unique, and that brings kind of a personal touch to their cases.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are firms you can go to that will be representing thousands of people, and you'll just be a number. And you might develop a relationship with a low-level legal assistant at that firm. But at our firm, we're committed to representing a smaller group of people, but doing a great job for them. Our individual approach to cases has resulted in people getting better awards than if they're represented by a big mill.
Well, Brooks and Margot, many of our viewers have suffered immeasurable losses, including the loss of their home, their belongings, or business as a result of the Southern California wildfires. Can you tell us why they should consider contacting your law firm so that you can help them manage the recovery process?
Sure. So, I mean, I think the first thing to understand is that we've seen it all, and so we can answer a lot of questions. And an important distinction here is the initial thing that's going to happen for most folks is they're going to be having interactions with their insurance company. We're just here to help with that. We're not going to take any fee or any part of anybody's insurance proceeds in this process. We're just here to advise them on how to maximize their insurance recovery. But really, we're only going to be compensated ultimately if we're able to hold a third party, a power company, somebody else who caused the fire, accountable. And so really, you're getting a lot of free help from us.
Right, so you're their partner in making sure that the insurance claim goes through quickly, right, and they get the full compensation that they deserve. But then you're also investigating whether somebody else was negligent.
That's exactly right.
So why is protecting the rights of wildfire victims so difficult, Margot?
I think it's so difficult because everyone has had such a traumatic experience, and they've suffered such individual and personal losses. And it really takes a team to dig deep, leave no stone unturned, and help guide the client through inventorying every aspect of their life, which can be so traumatic.
Yeah, can we talk about the process itself? So you get a call from somebody who says, my house burned down, I think I have insurance, I don't know if they're going to cover everything, could someone else be at fault? What are the steps you take in this process?
So I think the first step we do is to make sure that people are getting the housing benefits they deserve, income loss, all the coverages that people don't necessarily realize they have on their insurance policy, that those are being paid out appropriately to the people we represent.
Do they still have to make mortgage payments on a house that doesn't exist?
Yeah, and sometimes that's often worked out with the mortgage company, the bank. And there can be a cessation or a pause on those payments, and we definitely have information about that. And then it becomes important to document what you've lost, and we employ experts in that, in wildfire inventory. You know, folks think, oh, I had this or that, but typically people aren't nearly account for everything they had in their house, and they don't understand.
Who can remember it all?
Correct. And so we have experts that will help you do that so that you don't miss out on a lot of benefits that are available under your insurance policy by leaving out things or undervaluing them.
Brooks, Margot, the information you've given us today will be so helpful to many of our viewers and their families who've suffered losses due to the recent Southern California wildfires. Let's take a moment now to let our viewers know how they can reach our helpline, where professionals are standing by to offer free consultations on your wildfire case. We'll be right back. Have you or your family suffered losses due to fire, smoke, wind, water, break-in, or vandalism caused by the Eaton wildfire in Altadena and Pasadena, California? You may be entitled to significant compensation, and the law firm to call for the help you need is Cutter Law. Cutter Law is an award-winning law firm specializing in protecting the rights of wildfire victims. Documents recently filed indicate that Southern California Edison equipment may have been associated with the Eaton fire. Whether your losses are due to the actions or inactions of another party or parties, the skilled attorneys at Cutter Law can help. With over 130 years of combined legal experience and hundreds of millions of dollars in verdicts and settlements on behalf of clients, Cutter Law will not settle your claim for less than it's worth. If you or your family has suffered losses due to fire, smoke, wind, water, break-in, or vandalism due to the Eaton wildfire in Altadena and Pasadena, California, the law firm to call is Cutter Law. Call Cutter Law now for a free case review. Welcome back to our program. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. Thanks for joining us. With me today are Brooks Cutter and Margot Cutter, attorneys with Cutter Law. Our primary topic on today's program is protecting the rights of Southern California wildfire victims. So one of the things I know about your law firm is that you have been based in Northern California for many years and have seen a lot of wildfires. This is not new territory for you. Do you think this can benefit people in Southern California?
Absolutely. And of course, we'll have boots on the ground and do have boots on the ground in Southern California too. I think our experience in investigating and understanding the causes of wildfires can be very important. And I think our experience of holding insurance companies accountable for how they do the adjustment process is going to be important too. We've held, for example, State Farm accountable for not properly valuing people's property in a statewide class action that resulted in a change in how they had to do business in that regard. So we really understand both sides of a wildfire claim well.
I've always wondered, if you lose your items and they were old, do they give you, like the insurance company, a depreciated value? Because how are you going to take that money and buy something new and expensive?
So it's a great question, and actually was at the heart of our State Farm litigation. And some people will have a sofa that they never sit on in their special room, and it's in perfect condition. But the insurance companies sometimes will try and just say, well, it's 5 years old, so it's worn out, and offer you a fraction of it. But you're entitled to have that evaluated based on its actual condition. So if it's in like new condition, they should pay you for like new.
But who knew? Do you have to have pictures of your pretty couch?
They have to take your word for it. But there's a second aspect to this too, which a lot of folks don't realize, is even after they paid you that depreciated value, whatever it is, or the like new value, you are still entitled in most policies to replacement cost. And so you can go out and buy a brand new couch, and they will have to then pay you the difference between what they paid you for that depreciated item and what it cost you to get a brand new one. And so make sure that a lot of folks say, oh, I didn't really need that stuff, I'm not going to replace it. Well, think twice about that, because you could be getting brand new items and your coverage will supply that brand new item. And so make sure that you replace everything you really need and save those receipts, and you get an additional payment from your insurance company for that.
Save the receipts.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, can you tell our viewers exactly what comprises a wildfire lawsuit?
So it's not a one size fits all, right? You could have, we've had cases where you have a claim just against a utility company that caused it. We saw and are seeing in Maui more responsible parties, from landowners to public entities to a power company. And so it really depends on the circumstances of each fire. And in the Southern California wildfires, we're going to see that too. We're going to see the Eden Fire have liability on particular parties that the other fires may or may not have. At this point, we've all seen the footage from the Eden Fire of the SoCal Edison transmission tower arcing, and that's certainly going to be important to fully investigate that and look at accountability there. In the Palisades Fire, there are a lot of reports of inadequate resources for the firefighting effort. As a result
The
of
water
some,
problem.
Yeah, some deliberate decisions that were made to not have those resources available, and so potential for accountability there as well.
For the Department of Water and Power.
Yes.
And that's part of what our job is, just to investigate various causes and try and find out who is responsible.
What kind of damages can be claimed in a wildfire claim?
So you've really got the full range, ranging from loss of your dwelling, loss of everything in it, and we've seen significant personal injuries and wrongful death, tragically arising from fires, and we know people have lost their lives in these fires.
And what about the emotional pain and suffering and the trauma of this? Can you be compensated for that?
Absolutely. Definitely there are going to be significant emotional distress and personal injury and even wrongful death claims arising from these fires.
So if somebody is not a homeowner, they're a renter, can they still file a lawsuit? And what if they have no renter's insurance?
Absolutely. So, yeah, in the first place, some folks do have renter's insurance, which is very helpful. But if they don't, we can definitely still help them with a potential third-party claim. And renters have huge losses, right? They've lost all their household goods. They've had sometimes personal injuries, and we're happy to represent renters. Are
there any other less direct damages that wildfire victims can claim?
Sure. Well, we also represent businesses, right, that are affected by fires. And so you can have a business loss. Your business has been interrupted or sometimes completely put out of business by a fire. Your premises burned to the ground, or you just had to shut down for a long period of time.
Even those that were not in the fire, but the whole areas of Santa Monica that were evacuated, all those businesses closed. It was a ghost town in there for a few weeks, and all those businesses lost money.
That's right. And so you could potentially see a claim there. And of course, we represent individuals who have lost a lot of income from not being able to work. Mm-hmm. So I think that their economic harms go well beyond just losing your house and the contents and the distress.
We forget that it's not only the people that lived in these areas, but it's the people who worked in these areas, who commute in during the day, who are supporting their family. Their whole welfare depends on this area.
That's right.
And these businesses staying. Oh, forgot about these people. So what are the most important factors for a viewer to consider when determining if they're eligible in a wildfire case?
I think if you feel that you were in a wildfire area and affected, you should just reach out and have a discussion with us.
Right, you'll help people determine.
Yeah.
Brooks, Margot, the information you've given us today will be so helpful to many of our viewers and their families who've suffered losses due to the recent Southern California wildfires. Let's take a moment now to let our viewers know how they can reach our helpline, where professionals are standing by to offer free consultations on your wildfire case. We'll be right back. Have you or your family suffered losses due to fire, smoke, wind, water, break-in, or vandalism caused by the Eaton wildfire in Altadena and Pasadena, California? You may be entitled to significant compensation, and the law firm to call for the help you need is Cutter Law. Cutter Law is an award-winning law firm specializing in protecting the rights of wildfire victims. Documents recently filed indicate that Southern California Edison equipment may have been associated with the Eaton fire. Whether your losses are due to the actions or inactions of another party or parties, the skilled attorneys at Cutter Law can help. With over 130 years of combined legal experience and hundreds of millions of dollars in verdicts and settlements on behalf of clients, Cutter Law will not settle your claim for less than it's worth. If you or your family has suffered losses due to fire, smoke, wind, water, break-in, or vandalism due to the Eaton wildfire in Altadena and Pasadena, California, the law firm to call is Cutter Law. Call Cutter Law now for a free case review. Welcome back to our program. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. Thanks for joining us. With me today are Brooks Cutter and Margot Cutter, attorneys with Cutter Law. Our primary topic on today's program is protecting the rights of Southern California wildfire victims. I've always wondered this: if somebody doesn't have insurance, does that preclude them from recovery?
No, it does not. So you have, of course, it's great to have insurance and important to have it, but we're seeing FEMA provide substantial resources for folks to help, and it remains to be seen how adequate that will be. But of course, we represent lots of folks who are completely uninsured and then make a full recovery as a result of third-party responsibility. For example, in the Northern California cases, we've had significant claims against PG&E, and when there's a third-party cause of a fire and that third party has adequate resources to compensate somebody, then the absence of insurance does not have to be a barrier to these people getting made whole.
And let's talk about the timing of it. These are people who are completely displaced. They have nothing. How long does a wildfire lawsuit take?
So that really depends on the investigation and the resources, right? But I've seen it go quickly. I think it was really as a result of a team of lawyers doing great work in Maui that a settlement was announced a year after the fire. And so I think that's on the short end, but certainly it could be a year, 2 years.
So what about if somebody's already accepted some level of compensation? Can they still file a lawsuit?
Right, so it's important to distinguish them between your insurance coverage, right, and a third-party case. And so we'll help you maximize what you get from your insurance company, and they're going to start providing advances right away, and that's totally appropriate and doesn't block you from any of your later rights. But
so just because the insurance company has paid you off doesn't mean that you can't sue a utility company.
Correct.
Now, or someone else responsible.
Or someone else,
right.
whenever we figure it out.
Now,
it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
The insurance company will have their hand out too to get back what they paid you from the utility. And so that's also a process that we go through, is trying to minimize how much money the insurance companies take out of that pot where we're trying to recover for actual fire victims.
All this information is so helpful. Why should our viewers consider hiring an attorney now?
Well, the short answer is that you get help with what your urgent needs, which are understanding your insurance policy, and we're not charging for that. And we're only going to charge a contingent fee if we're able to establish liability of a third party. We're not going to look to take a fee on the insurance policy that you've paid for, and which will most likely not even have enough limits in it for you to fully rebuild. Almost everybody's going to be underinsured and is going to need help with additional resources, and that's where we come in and try and provide them.
And not to mention the potential for escalating costs of construction, as people trying to get all supplies at the same time.
Correct.
And the bidding wars with the contractors. It's going to be a lot, and I think an attorney can help. What can you tell our viewers about the approach that Cutter Law takes to the practice of wildfire representation that distinguishes you guys from others? I
think what we try and do is treat you as a person with a loss, a family with a loss, and who needs individual attention and an individual discussion. That you're not just going to be getting blast emails from us or texts from us, that you're not going to be one of thousands of people we represent. You're going to be one of a smaller number of people that we give our particular attention to.
Margot, you're a mother with small children yourself. When you think of these clients who are families raising kids whose schools have burned down too, does this give you a special kind of compassion for them?
Of course. We always try and put ourselves in the shoes of our clients and imagine what they've been through, or try to imagine. And for some of our lawyers, it's not very hard because they've suffered similar losses in other fires. But it's definitely something that's near and dear to our hearts. And
you've had family members who've lost homes.
Right.
So it's here, it's in the family.
Yeah.
I can certainly see where taking this personal interest in your clients is a major advantage for wildfire victims. I didn't realize that so many other large firms that advertise don't actually have local offices to serve their clients. Obviously, experience in wildfire law is also important, right? So it's both, you talk about boots on the ground and also the fact that you've had a lot of these cases.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most important thing is you may see advertisements from folks that really don't have a lot of experience with wildfire representation. But I think it's important for people in looking for their best advocate to consider, is this a firm that has a history, that's been doing it for years and years, and is going to bring that knowledge to bear for me?
Brooks, Margot, the information you've given us today will be so helpful to many of our viewers and their families who've suffered losses due to the recent Southern California wildfires. Let's take a moment now to let our viewers know how they can reach our helpline, where professionals are standing by to offer free consultations on your wildfire case. We'll be right back. Have you or your family suffered losses due to fire, smoke, wind, water, break-in, or vandalism caused by the Eaton wildfire in Altadena and Pasadena, California? You may be entitled to significant compensation, and the law firm to call for the help you need is Cutter Law. Cutter Law is an award-winning law firm specializing in protecting the rights of wildfire victims. Documents recently filed indicate that Southern California Edison equipment may have been associated with the Eaton fire. Whether your losses are due to the actions or inactions of another party or parties, the skilled attorneys at Cutter Law can help. With over 130 years of combined legal experience and hundreds of millions of dollars in verdicts and settlements on behalf of clients, Cutter Law will not settle your claim for less than it's worth. If you or your family has suffered losses due to fire, smoke, wind, water, break-in, or vandalism due to the Eaton wildfire in Altadena and Pasadena, California, the law firm to call is Cutter Law. Call Cutter Law now for a free case review. Welcome back to our program. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. Thanks for joining us. With me today are Brooks Cutter and Margot Cutter, attorneys with Cutter Law. Our primary topic on today's program is protecting the rights of Southern California wildfire victims. I'm thinking that in most, if not all of these cases, the injured party will be dealing with an insurance company. What can you tell our viewers specifically about how this factors into their choice of wildfire law firm?
Whether or not someone has insurance, they might have a claim. And so regardless of your insurance situation, you should call a lawyer to find out if you do have a claim. And if you do have insurance, we'll work with you at no cost to maximize your recovery, to help you inventory your belongings, which is always a really traumatic and difficult experience for people, and use our experience to make sure you maximize your recovery.
I think that's a great point, and I think what's important to understand is that in that first situation of dealing with your insurance company, the experience of understanding the the fire policy, it's not the same as, a car policy. And so knowing the ins and outs, having successfully represented For example, every State Farm policyholder in California against State Farm to make sure that their personal property loss adjustment practices were reformed, that's experience that other firms don't have, and that you're going to get from us without a fee while we try and investigate and make sure that if there's a third party, that they're held accountable. And so I think that that's why it's important.
So bottom line, call a lawyer, but specifically call a lawyer who's had lots of experience with wildfires. And you guys having a record of successfully negotiating wildfire settlements with insurance companies is obviously an important consideration when choosing a wildfire attorney. Did you ever think you would have the name wildfire attorney? So sad. Another I want to address here is the cost of representation. People are afraid to pick up the phone. They think it's going to cost them a lot. How do you address their concerns?
So I think the important thing, which we've said a couple times here, is that we're not charging a fee on their insurance policy, and so everybody's looking at their insurance policy saying, gosh, this cost of reconstruction is going to be much higher than the coverage on this deck page. I can't afford a lawyer. But the truth is that we're going to offer that advice without a fee, and we're only going to charge a fee if we can find a third party responsible and hold them accountable, and then we will take a fee on that. But so I think that folks can be reassured that they're not going to be out of pocket at all, ever, as a result of hiring for legal fees. And in our experience, folks do a better job with their personal property inventory form, a better job of understanding the cost of their structure reconstruction when they have good legal advice.
Well, I think it's important for people to understand that we only represent victims on a contingency fee basis. And that means they don't have to pay any money up front. Our firm advances all of the costs of litigation, and we only take a small percentage at the end of any recovery we get for them from a third party. We take 0% of any of their insurance money.
And that's only if you identify a third party, have a case against them, et cetera. And in the meantime, they're getting lots of great advice.
That's right.
Which is wonderful. Brooks and Margot, that is great information for any of our viewers who have suffered losses as a result of a wildfire. It's obvious victims of these wildfires will be served well by calling Cutter Law. Brooks and Margot, we've covered so many areas of wildfire law today that have affected viewers with wildfire claims. I'm sure the information you've given us will be helpful to so many of our viewers and their families who've suffered serious injury as a result of these fires. Thanks to both of you for joining us today.
Thank you for
having us.
And thanks to you for watching. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. Have you or your family suffered losses due to fire, smoke, wind, water, break-in, or vandalism caused by the Eaton wildfire in Altadena and Pasadena, California? You may be entitled to significant compensation, and the law firm to call for the help you need is Cutter Law. Cutter Law is an award-winning law firm specializing in protecting the rights of wildfire victims. Documents recently filed indicate that Southern California Edison equipment may have been associated with the Eaton fire. Whether your losses are due to the actions or inactions of another party or parties, the skilled attorneys at Cutter Law can help. With over 130 years of combined legal experience and hundreds of millions of dollars in verdicts and settlements on behalf of clients, Cutter Law will not settle your claim for less than it's worth. If you or your family has suffered losses due to fire, smoke, wind, water, break-in, or vandalism due to the Eaton wildfire in Altadena and Pasadena, California, the law firm to call is Cutter Law. Call Cutter Law now for a free case review.
This advertisement is paid for by Cutter Law, PC.